Hello. So NVIDIA is down 6.5%, that is after hours. And we're going to examine what happened here. When you're seeing this kind of a decline, then more than likely there are some news coming our way. We're going to talk about this news in this video and also kind of talk a little bit about Nancy Pelosi, what she did with NVIDIA, maybe what that meant, and also take a little bit of a look at NVIDIA itself as a stock. Maybe it's an interesting buy, especially after the dust settles from here. But what happened? We can use our tool here and take a look at our stock news. And you will see that US restricts sales of sophisticated chips to China and Russia. And a lot of articles pretty much already written about this one, even though this is brand new news, pretty much. And you will see, I've opened up one of these articles, US restricts sales of sophisticated chips to China and Russia here. And the Biden administration has imposed new restrictions on sales of sophisticated computer chips to China and Russia. And so we're looking from the Biden administration to potentially prevent, or at least not help, China's advances in the fields of high-performance computing and artificial intelligence, even though I'm pretty sure China is very, very advanced in these fields as well, if not more than the US, frankly. But this kind of news here will definitely cause some issues to NVIDIA and potentially other semiconductors companies, because they are selling quite some in China. They do have customers in China. Now, NVIDIA doesn't have customers in Russia, is what you will see in this article here, but they do have about 400 million in revenue that was generated in the most recent fiscal quarter in China, and so they will get affected by this amount. So this may be a little bit troublesome for NVIDIA itself. Now we're going to examine some more details about what has been going on with the beloved senators here. And of course our tool here has its ways of actually telling you what has been happening with senators. You can go to Senator Trades here in our tool. And remember, you can get access to our tool here by becoming a Patreon. You can find links in the description box below this video if you're interested. But you will see here that among all these purchases and sales, you're looking at Nancy Pelosi. And you can take a look at all her sales, and that could be her husband's sales as well, and it is actually her husband that sold this. She actually sold out of NVIDIA pretty much in July 16th, and she actually filed the same day, so you can actually see when the transaction happened and when the file was done. And I believe you have like 40 days or so to file. There's some sort of a fine if you don't, or something of that sort. And you can kind of even see, if you take a look, if you follow the link and click here, you will see the full report here. It was just the sale of NVIDIA here. Now, we do have some more information about this because information leaked. And you will see here, actually this is an article about NVIDIA as well, but you will see here that Nancy Pelosi and husband sell NVIDIA Corp stock after public pressure, July 27, when the sale happened, when we knew about it actually, and it was the same day. Here's how much she lost and what's next. So what did she sell out of her position if there was the CHIPS Act and potentially NVIDIA would be getting some extra stock price boost potentially? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Now you will see that the sale of by Pelosi comes after public scrutiny over exercising calls of the leading semiconductor stock, done ahead of a vote of the CHIPS Act by Congress. And I think this comes in response to public pressure and the conflict of interest her stock position posed, is what they thought, or the founder of CongressTrading.com said at the time. But now it may seem a little bit of a different story, right? I mean, I don't really think that senators care too much about public scrutiny, really, and potential public pressure. But they definitely do care if they are going to be losing more money than expected. And, this kind of news here, the fact that NVIDIA gets banned in China, could and would more than likely lead to a decline in the stock, maybe more than 10-15% eventually. We'll see where that goes. But if you know about this, you are definitely selling. Now, I don't know if she did know about this, but it's worth taking a look at what has happened and potentially make your own conclusions here. And yeah, Nancy Pelosi's husband sells 4 million is what they sold. Now, when they are actually filing, you don't know the exact number because the actual file, if you see the trade here, just has a range. It's from 1 million to 5 million over here. But information basically leaked, and we know that they sold about 4 million worth of shares over here, 25,000 shares. And yeah, they lost some money on this trade, about $340,000 actually, which is a little bit weird. And again, if you are buying a company before the CHIPS Act, is it really the fact that you are actually cannot withstand the peer pressure or public pressure, I should say? Who knows? But in regards to actually NVIDIA here, you can take a look at our metrics page, which can give you a very nice picture, overall picture of where the company is at the moment. And it is trading at $141, probably 140 or so when the market opens, maybe a little bit less even when the market opens. So it's approaching its 1 year low over here. And it's been down significantly, about 60% is going to be when the market opens, maybe a little bit more even. And the P ratio, the price to free cash flow ratio, have been elevated for a while in regards to NVIDIA. But now, after this news and after this keeps going down for a while, and again, remember, Nancy Pelosi, for instance, sold at about this date, 27th over here, and you will see that as this goes down, as he sold this, actually basically is going down and trending down, and as it has been trending down, of course, the ratios become better because the stock becomes cheaper. And as a long-term investor, that's exactly what we strive for. Is this the time to invest in NVIDIA here? It's sitting at a 40 and a 46 in terms of a price to free cash flow ratio. They converge with each other, which is nice to see. And overall, the stock looks much better than what it used to be, and it has some nice merits here. The company is still growing massively, as you'll see. The liabilities of the company are very little. They do issue a little bit of shares, but not too much actually. And if this keeps on falling, maybe they will actually buy back even, who knows. But they don't have much debt. They have great margins here, great returns on equity, and paying a little bit of a dividend yield, which is negligible practically. And of course, you can always take a look at the dividend stub and see exactly what has been paid. Basically negligible, frankly. But again, when we go back, we are looking at a company that could be potentially a very interesting buy over here, NVIDIA that is. And so it definitely deserves a place in our watch list. Now, I want to take a little bit of a look at the analysts, what analysts are telling us here. What are their price targets? So they are looking at potential moves to the upside for the most part. Most of them betting that the stock will reach 300 or 230 here. So they are expecting it to go much higher than what it is right now. Now, I don't know about 300 anytime soon, but overall you are looking at bullish analysts over here. And of course, you can always click and see the exact article here and the exact pretty much person who predicted that and the company behind it pretty much. Okay, when we go back here, the next thing that I want to be taking a little bit of a look at is what is happening with insiders, because this can give me some potentially interesting information. I want to see whether there are any purchases. I'm not seeing any purchases here, which would be denoted by a green part, a green piece in our bar chart here. But the next thing that I want to be seeing is whether they are selling a ton. And the most important person is definitely the CFO. This is the person that I'm always taking a look at. It's going to be either Chief Financial Officer, or CFO. And you will see here that they made their last sale back in June. So they are not selling anytime soon here. And the amount of securities that were transacted were very little compared to their overall security zone. So they are not really selling much here. And this is a nice thing to see. They seem to be keeping their sales. And overall, there is not much selling going on here in terms of executives. Nice to see, actually, from insiders. Now, our stock evaluation tool can give us some idea of what to pay for the company. The average revenue growth in the last 5 years has been tremendous, 33%. Now, we will go lower. Now, we do know that China is lost as well. So we will go, let's go 8, 10, and 12 here and see what we do get out of these projections. In terms of the net income margins, they are sitting at about 31%. And they are very solid. You'll see that they are at a very similar range. A couple of years where it was like 26%, but solidly near 30%. I'm going to go 27, 30, oops, not 39, that would be a bit too much, 30 and 33. And in terms of the free cash flow margins, again, very solid here, near 100%. And it's going to be a little bit more, a little bit less, but generally speaking, near 100. And some years are actually more than 100, so I'm going to go 90, 100, and 110, and an annual return of 13% is what I'm going to be asking for. And we hit calculate here, and you will see that we are still expensive is the problem with NVIDIA. It keeps going down. The current price is not 150, remember, it's going down more. So we're opening at about 140. Now, this one I'm willing to pay a little bit more for. Like I'm willing to get it at the highest end of this range, potentially. Maybe even a little bit more, actually. Because this is a fantastic company. I mean, it has great margins. It's growing insanely. And when the dust settles and when the stock price goes lower, if it does go lower, it may give us a very, very nice entry point. And remember, I used very conservative revenue growth numbers here. The average is like 30%. Again, if you go back 33%. So if I went like something which is potentially maybe a little bit more sensible, like 15, 20, and 25 here, then in that situation you would even get a price that is a green here, because we're opening at about 140 tomorrow. This would be a buy at a 25% revenue growth for the next 5 years, which may as well happen. Now again, remember, we're losing China. We're in a situation where probably, more than likely, we're not going to be having this kind of revenue growth for the company. But remember also what kind of company you are getting here. Now, would I buy at this price? I wouldn't buy where it is right now. I want a better price for sure. But near 100, I would start thinking about it. Maybe 80 to 100 would potentially be a nice entry point for me. Because remember, there are many, many great things about this company, making tons of cash. I mean, you remember, I didn't examine exactly the free cash flow, but you will see it here that the company makes 8 billion in free cash flow. And again, if you take a look at their balance sheet here and take a look at their total liabilities, they're very little compared to the free cash flow. So about 2 years of free cash flow to pay back everything. So the company is very, very solvent, very little debt, and it's making great margins overall. It's a leader. It's growing amazingly still. Amazing revenue growth, pretty much growth in everything, really. And so they do have a little bit of a downtrend here, which is a potentially nice entry point. This is what I'm seeing. Now, again, I'm not buying here, but this one is going to be a company that is definitely in my watch list for a buy, no doubt about it. Especially if it keeps going down a little bit more, then it's gonna be entering my portfolio more than likely. But thanks for watching. Tell me what you think about NVIDIA. An interesting company, right? I'd love to hear your comments. And thank you for watching this one. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.